PFP fam, what's happening? Hey guys, summer's coming to an end. We just want to say hello, survive, back to school, and goodbye.
Hey, this is a little bit of a crazy time, but it's an exciting time. School's getting ready to get back into sessions, and things are going to be changing a little bit.
Yep, we're pretty pumped up here because nothing changes for us. But we do have to say bye to our college athletes, which is sad. Hey guys, today on this Facebook Live, at the end, we're going to be sharing something very important for all of your kids. If you're a college student athlete, if you're a high school, middle school, if you want to achieve success in the hard things in life, the things that you don't enjoy doing, don't like doing, you're going to want to stick around because we're going to break down a little concept for you that's going to be important. But Travis wants to kick off this message with a story that he's been telling our athletes.
Yes.
A really cool story about someone that you may not have heard of. If you saw the Facebook title, you're like, what is that? What's a Swen? Who is that? This is a really cool story. He's going to share the story now. It's going to inspire you.
Yeah, so it's a story I've heard a few times as I was going through different material with John Gordon. When you study these areas, you all heard of John Wooden. You've heard of Bill Walton. We've heard of all these great people, but the unsung hero that often gets neglected is Swen Nater. Swen Nater was part of that championship team for the Bruins. Under John Wooden, he won 10 national championships. Bill Walton was part of 3 of those teams, okay? After Bill Walton's sophomore campaign, he was an All-American, he was a national champion. John Wooden started the recruiting circuit. And he heard of this guy, Swen Nater. He was a JUCO, he was killing it, and he went to him with this awesome opportunity. I want you to come to UCLA where you're going to be able to compete with the best center in basketball.
Bill Walton, right?
Bill Walton.
Bill Walton, okay.
But you're never going to start a game. All right, so John Wooden was selling him on this philosophy, like, I want you to come play for my team, but you're not going to start.
What a value proposition there.
Yes, yes. So he got to UCLA, and every day at practice, he went after Bill Walton with everything he had. They competed night in and night out. And Bill Walton has been on record saying that in those last 2 seasons, his toughest competition was throughout the week in practice, not on game day. All right? So Swen Nater, what he epitomizes is he went in and he was consistent in doing something that's really uncommon and really uncomfortable, and that's giving everything you have in practice knowing you're not going to be the starter. All right, and I feel like now more than ever, that's not easy to do. That's hard to do. And as a byproduct, Swen Nater went on. He got drafted first in the ABA draft. I said it right, ABA draft. It was when the ABA was a thing. He got picked 17th overall. He was the ABA Rookie of the Year, a 2-time All-ABA team. And when he converted to the NBA, he actually led the league in rebounding. So the byproduct of being really selfless and doing that really minute thing really well, that really uncomfortable, that really ordinary thing, was he ended up elevating himself too. And now he's a highly successful executive at Costco, still killing it after sports, applying those lessons he learned under John Wooden and playing on that UCLA Bruin team.
There's like 4,000 different lessons, I think, packed into this story. One of the lessons that I think of is not always going for the shiny object, right? We call it shiny object syndrome. But the shiny object for a student athlete is go to the biggest school where they're going to offer me the most money and I'm going to have the most initial success. Swen Nater probably could have gone to a place where he would have gotten more money, I'm thinking, for scholarship, and he probably could have gotten more superstardom right off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
But he humbled himself. I guess he was a forward-thinking guy because he went and he decided to be a backup for his entire career. Yeah. But why did he do it? There were some other things there that were attractive.
Yeah, I mean, as a selfless act, they went on to win 2 national championships during his reign there. So who knows, without Swen Nater, would have Bill Walton been pushed to a point where that team could have propelled and won those national championships? You really don't know. Mm-hmm. But who knows what that team would have been without him. Would John Wooden only have 8 championships instead of 10?
Right. And the message that we're giving this month to our athletes is consistency. And it's such a bland word, but this story brings consistency to life because Swen Nater consistently, day after day, just gave his best. I talk to athletes all the time who say, you know what, I got to school, my coach wasn't all that I thought they were going to be, and so, you know, I'm not going to give my best to my coach if my coach doesn't give their best to me. What a mistake. Yeah. Because that's so short-sighted. Swen Nater had vision. He could see past the immediate downfall of not being able to get playing time, and he gave his best every single day. How often do we not give our best because we're not getting the recognition, the money, the prestige? we're doing it for other people, not for ourselves.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is when you're not getting those starting minutes, it's even easier to go to practice and kind of coast. And that the fact that he was able to turn it on every night like he did blows my mind. I mean, it humbles me every time I hear the story, and I take a little bit out of it each time. Every time I've heard it, it's one of those ones that hit and it struck different. Because I am blown away by the way Swen Nater handled himself in that time.
So the story that comes to my mind is the cup, the sleeve, and the napkin. It's one of my favorite stories, but Swen Nater, he was the sleeve. Okay, when you go into a coffee shop, the main attraction, the thing that everybody wants, is the cup of coffee, right? It's the cup. Everybody wants to be the cup. However, the little thing that slides on the cup that you have to have is called the sleeve. And if you don't have the sleeve on the cup, you're going to burn your hand, which ultimately means the cup of coffee has to be lukewarm. Lukewarm coffee is nasty. Nobody would ever want to drink coffee if it had to be lukewarm. So therefore, the sleeve that protects you from being burnt is equally as important as the cup of coffee. Equally as important, because the cup of coffee couldn't exist without it. But then there's that unsung hero that everybody forgets about in the whole equation. Could you imagine if this one thing didn't exist? You would go into a coffee shop and it would be messy, it would be nasty, people would have spills and stains all over their shirts. If the napkin didn't exist, the cup and the sleeve would cease to exist in importance. Swen Nater humbled himself and decided he didn't need to be the cup. Athlete, you don't need to be the cup. Just because they give more money to the cups, just because the cups get on the front page of the newspaper, just because mom and dad post pictures when you are the cup, it doesn't mean, honestly, it doesn't mean that the cup is all that in a bag of chips. The cup is just one part of the equation, and we got to stop feeding into this lie that the only way you're successful is if you're the cup, which means if you get the statistics, the scholarship, all the greatest things. We got to switch our mindset as influencers, coaches, parents, teachers. We have to stop doing that because people actually believe what Swen Nater knew wasn't true. He knew it wasn't true. He knew he could be successful as Bill Walton's napkin.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird way to put it, but yeah.
Or Bill Walton's sleeve, right?
Yeah.
The Batman to the Robin, you need that. And then eventually Swen Nater, he got to be a cup.
Yeah, and what it was all about that process, right? We talk about athletes as a journey. He humbled himself. He took the back seat. He played the backup role, and the consistency that he delivered in practice actually propelled him to a spot where he went on to flourish in his own career, both as a basketball player and a Costco executive.
You're such a good storyteller.
Thank you.
Travis is a good storyteller, isn't he? He really is. I admire that. Guys, if you don't mind, we want to show you this simple framework that we've been teaching our college athletes, because we have a lot of college athletes that, are we good here, Brian? Let me back up a little bit. We've got a lot of college athletes that they struggle with doing the hard things, having the difficult conversations, continuing to be consistent and give their best effort at practice, get out and work on their skills and drills even when it's easier to go and just hang out with friends. Like, they struggle with doing the hard things. And if you think about it, you don't really like doing the hard things either. If you did, they would be called the easy things. For me, working out and eating healthy, it is an easy thing. I don't need anyone to tell me to do it. I don't need encouragement. I don't need support. It's just easy for me to do. Whereas for some people, that's the hardest thing for them to do, and that's why they need these 3 things that we're about to show you. For me, I've told the college students all week, the hard thing for me is to not work. It's very easy for me to work from 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. It's easy for me to do that. What's hard for me is to do the right thing, and that's to shut it down at 6:30 p.m. so I can give my best to my family. And there's a reason why I'm telling you all that, because we've come up with the triple threat for success.
A little bit of a basketball reference.
A little basketball reference. But more importantly, in the hard things in life, right? You need the triple threat if you're going to do the hard things, if you're going to do that you don't want to do, we say. The first thing that you need, athlete, is a coach. If you're trying to start a new habit or break a bad one, and you don't have a coach who's going to inspire you and teach you new ways of thinking and encourage you, that's probably one of the reasons why you have failed in the past at the things that you don't like doing. Second thing you need is accountability. I'm not going to share live on Facebook and Travis won't either because he does the same thing, but I pay a personal coach an absurd amount of money to both coach me in the areas that I don't like doing, right? Which for me, it's not that I don't like not working, but I love working so much that it's hard for me to shut it down. I pay a coach to hold me accountable. Literally, somebody that checks in with me weekly and says, Andrew, are you doing what you said you were going to do? Are you still giving your best effort even when you don't feel like it? Are you still shutting down work at 6:30 p.m.? Guys, if you don't have these two things, you're never going to do the hard things. Not consistently, at least. If you want to be successful, you have to have these two things. And then the last one is the all-powerful community, right? As part of what I pay for my coaching, I've got a group of people that are like me. They have the same challenges I have. They have the same fears that I have. They have a lot of the same desires that I have. And so the reason why we share this is because Swen Nater, he had all these three things which allowed him to continue working hard even when he didn't feel like it, even when it was like, dang, another 365 days where I gotta be the backup. Like, I'm not gonna see the court again this year. Who does that? Someone that has a coach encouraging them and saying, God, it's worth it. John Wooden told Swen Nater, it's worth it. Keep going, stay consistent, keep going. Eventually it'll pay off. He had accountability from his parents, his coaches, his friends, and then he had a community of people backing him, his teammates that were encouraging him along the way. So Travis, what do you got to add on that?
It's just an amazing story. I had one athlete ask, why didn't John Wooden put him at power forward? That's a good question. But all I know is he stayed the course and all these things were in place. And I mean, it had to be incredible to be a fly in the gym to see Bill Walton and Swen Nater go at it. Because I guarantee there's some great battles that happen on that UCLA basketball court.
Yep. So these are the three things. If you failed, if you're currently failing, if you're struggling with consistency, it's probably because you don't have one of these three things. That's why we're here for you, to mentor your student athletes, to mentor and coach them. Or if you're an adult, the same thing. We can help you out. Triple threat.
Triple threat. And one thing I'm leaving the athletes with is consistency is really easy in the areas that we enjoy. So I think basketball, getting shots up, that's a little easier than working on your handles, right? Getting the ball in your left hand or defensive slides. So my challenge for the athletes on this theme of consistency is gravitate to those areas that are hard for you, okay? The harder things for you. And that's how you're really going to propel yourself. So my challenge is pick that thing that you know you need to do, get these things in place, and let's make it happen.
Boom. Don't wait. Just do it today. Do it. Or call us up and we'll make you do it. Right? A great coach makes you do the things you don't want to do, even when you don't feel like doing them. So, That's all, guys. Thanks for listening. Research Swen Nater. Go out there, get a workout in. Yep. See you guys soon.